Listen to me. I know you're hurting. I know you've been carrying a weight on your chest that nobody sees, a pain that wakes you up in the middle of the night and follows you like a shadow during the day. You feel empty, confused, betrayed, or disappointed. And sometimes you ask yourself, how am I supposed to move forward when my heart feels shattered? But hear me, your broken heart is not the end. It's the beginning. Your pain is not your prison. It's your push. Your wounds are not your weakness, they're your weapons. Listen to me carefully. Everybody can move when life is normal. Everybody can smile when things go right. But only a chosen few learn to rise while they're bleeding. Only a chosen few learn to grow while they're grieving. Only a chosen few move forward with a broken heart. And if you're going through something right now, congratulations. You were chosen. See, the world taught you that strength is about muscles and loud voices. But I came to tell you that true strength, the kind that builds kings and queens, shows in silence, in tears, in nights when you wanted to give up but didn't. Strength is built when you show up, even when your heart doesn't want to. You want to know the truth. A broken heart doesn't stop you. It shapes you. It sharpens you. It humbles you. It forces you to discover the version of you that comfort never could. You think your heartbreak is punishment, is preparation? You think your setback is destruction, is construction? You think this chapter is tragedy, it's transition. Life is not asking you to forget the pain. Life is asking you to walk with it, to learn from it, to grow with it, and to move anyway. Hear me. The pain you're feeling is temporary, but the strength you're gaining is permanent. When your heart breaks, your vision clears. When your heart breaks, your priorities shift. When your heart breaks, your soul wakes up. And if you keep moving, even slowly, even painfully, even with tears in your eyes, one day you're going to look back and say, that heartbreak didn't break me, it built me. It built me. Because sometimes the heart has to break so the truth can enter. Sometimes the heart has to break so your destiny can begin. And the moment you decide, I will move forward, even with this brokenness, the universe starts opening doors you never knew existed. Opportunities show up. Healing begins. Strength grows. Purpose unfolds. So keep moving. Keep fighting. Keep breathing. Keep believing. Keep believing. Your heart might be broken, but you're still chosen. And you're still moving forward. Your brokenness is not your identity. It's a season. And the reason I keep repeating this is because when people go through heartbreak, when people lose someone, when someone betrays them, when life hits them in a way they never expected, start to believe that the pain is permanent. They start to believe the sadness is who they are now. They start to believe the disappointment is their new personality. But listen to me, just because you're in a storm doesn't mean you are the storm. Just because you're experiencing heartbreak doesn't mean heartbreak is your home. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are refined by it. Every season is temporary, and that includes this one. But when you're hurting deeply, your mind plays tricks on you. Pain becomes loud, it becomes heavy. It becomes a voice yelling in your ear that this is forever. And because that voice is constant, you start to accept it as truth. That's why so many people stop dreaming after heartbreak. They stop trusting, they stop trying. They settle for a smaller version of themselves because the pain makes them believe that this is who they are now, broken, weak, unworthy. But hear me, your pain is what you're going through, not who you are. Your heartbreak is an experience, not a definition. Seasons don't last. They never have, and they never will. Think about nature for a moment. Winter can feel endless. Dark skies, cold winds, empty trees, everything looks dead. But no matter how strong the winter is, spring always comes. New leaves grow, flowers push through the soil. Birds return, life restarts. And here's the powerful truth. Everything that looked dead wasn't dead, it was preparing. The roots were working even when the branches looked lifeless. And that's exactly what happens inside you during heartbreak. You might feel empty on the surface, but deep inside your roots are strengthening. Your soul is learning. Your heart is rebuilding. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Brokenness feels like winter, but your spring is already on its way. The problem is that many people make permanent decisions based on temporary pain. They close their hearts forever because of one betrayal. They stop believing in love because one person hurt them. They give up on dreams because one failure wounded their confidence. But that's like staying inside forever because one storm scared you. Storms come and go. Rain comes and goes. Seasons come and go. But your life, your purpose, your potential, that stays. You can't let temporary heartbreak convince you to quit on permanent greatness. Listen to me. Your worth does not decrease because someone failed to value you. Your strength does not disappear because someone walked away. Your future is not destroyed because your heart is hurting right now. Nobody gets to decide who you are except you. Not your past, not your mistakes, not your heartbreak, not the people who broke you. You are allowed to hurt, but you are not required to surrender to that hurt. You are allowed to feel lost, but you are not required to stay lost. You are allowed to cry, but you are not required to quit. This season you're in is shaping you, it's stretching you, it's stripping away illusions and opening your eyes to truth. Heartbreak has a way of revealing everything, who you are, who they were, and what you truly deserve. Pain clarifies, it removes the fog. What once confused you becomes obvious. What once blinded you becomes clear. That's why heartbreak is never just an ending, it's also an awakening. You start to understand your worth differently. You start to choose yourself differently. You start to show up differently. You start to expect differently. And that shift, that transformation is the birth of a new season. But here's the part that nobody likes to hear. Transformation hurts. Growth hurts. Healing hurts. Not because you're weak, but because you're shedding layers that were never meant to stay. Every tear you cry is a release. Every moment you feel alone is a rebuilding. Every night your heart aches is a sign that you're pushing through something that once controlled you. Healing is not comfortable. Healing is not pretty. Healing is messy, painful, confusing, exhausting, but necessary. And as long as you're healing, you're not stuck. As long as you're trying, you're not trapped. As long as you're moving, you're not defeated. Some people think brokenness is a sign they fail, but brokenness is a sign you care. That's what makes pain so deep. You love deeply, trusted deeply, believe deep. Only those with big hearts experience big heartbreaks, but big hearts also create big future. Do not punish yourself for loving with everything you had. Do not blame yourself for giving someone a chance. Do not shame yourself for trying. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. And the world needs more humans with hearts like yours, not fewer. You need to understand something. Even the strongest people have seasons of brokenness. Warriors bleed, leaders cry, champions fall, faithful hearts break. That does not make them less. That makes them real. What separates them from the rest is not that they avoid heartbreak. It's that they don't let heartbreak change their identity. They don't let it rewrite their value. They don't let it stop their journey. They feel the pain, but keep moving through the season. You have survived every heartbreak you thought would destroy you. You have lived through moments you never imagined you would escape. You have picked yourself up again and again, and here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still becoming. That alone is evidence that this season will not defeat you. If the last storm didn't take you out, this one won't either. You have survived too much to quit now. You have grown too much to give up now. You have come too far to let this heartbreak define you now. At some point you will wake up and the pain will feel different. Not gone, just softer. You'll realize you're breathing a little easier, laughing a little more, saying a little clearer. You'll think about what hurt you, and instead of breaking your spirit, it will strengthen your understanding. The same memory that once crushed your heart will become a lesson that builds your future. That's when you'll know the season shifted, you made it out. But for now, in this season, you just need to keep going. Keep standing, keep breathing, keep believing. Don't rush your healing. Don't punish yourself for struggling. Don't force your heart to move faster than can. Seasons change naturally. Healing happens gradually. Healing happens gradually. And transformation always arrives on time. Your only job is to not quit before the season ends. The day will come when your brokenness becomes your testimony. When people look at you and can't believe what you survived. When your strength inspires someone else to keep going. When your story becomes proof that heartbreak is not the end, it's a turning point. On that day, you'll thank yourself for not letting this season define you. You'll thank yourself for remembering who you were even when you felt lost. You'll thank yourself for holding on when everything in you wanted to let go. So don't forget, this is a season, not your identity. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not stuck. You're not finished. Your heart may be bruised, but your spirit is unshakable. Your hope may feel dim, but your destiny is still bright. And one day you'll look back on this moment and realize that what you thought was breaking you was actually building you into someone stronger, wiser, deeper, and more powerful than ever before. You're not defined by this season. You're simply passing through it. And when you reach the other side, you won't just be healed. You'll be transformed, moving slowly, still moving. And I need you to understand this on a deep level, because too many people destroy their own progress by comparing their pace to someone else. They look at how fast others are healing, how quickly others are succeeding, how easily others seem to be moving on. And they start to believe something is wrong with them for not being able to do it the same way. But listen to me. Progress is not measured in speed. It's measured in direction. As long as you are moving forward, even if it is inch by inch, even if it is barely noticeable, even if you feel like you're crawling through your own pain, you are still moving. And movement, no matter how slow, is victory. The world glorifies speed. Everything is fast. Fast success, fast healing, fast results. But real life doesn't work like that. Real growth is slow. Real healing is slow. Real transformation is slow. And the problem is that people expect themselves to recover like a machine instead of a human being. They expect their hearts to heal on a schedule. They expect their minds to stop hurting because enough time has passed. They expect themselves to be strong instantly, confident instantly, ready instantly. But the heart doesn't move on command. Healing does not answer to impatience. Growth does not submit to pressure. Progress happens in moments, not milestones. Every day you wake up with a heavy heart but choose to get out of bed anyway. That's progress. Every day you feel sadness but choose to show up for yourself anyway. That's progress. Every day you tell yourself you're tired but still try. That's progress. It might not look glamorous. It might not feel powerful. It might not be something you can post about. But that quiet, invisible movement forward is the very thing that separates survivors from quitters. You don't win because you're the fastest. You win because you don't stop. There will be days when you feel stuck. Days when your heart still hurts, even after you thought you were healing. Days when the memories come back. Days when you feel like you're losing the progress you worked so hard to make. But hear me, healing is not a straight line. It goes forward, backwards, sideways, up, down, and sometimes it stands still. But stillness is not failure. Sometimes you need to pause to breathe. Sometimes you need to rest to recover. Sometimes you need to sit with the pain to understand. Movement is not always visible. Growth is not always obvious. But even in stillness, something inside you is shifting. Think about a seed planted underground. For weeks, maybe months, you see nothing. No leaves, no sprouts, no signs of life. From the outside, it looks dead, stagnant, unmoving. But under the soil, the seed is breaking open. Roots are expanding. Structure is forming. It's growing in silence where nobody can see. And one day it breaks through the surface, not because it decided that day to grow, but because it had been growing all along. That's how healing works. That's how progress works. What feels like nothing is often the most important growth of your life happening quietly within you. You might not feel strong right now, but you're becoming stronger every day you choose not to give up. You might not feel brave, but you're becoming braver every time you face another day with a hurting heart. You might not feel like you're moving forward, but every tear you cry is washing away old pain. Every thought you struggle through is building mental resilience. Every step you take, no matter how small, is pulling you out of the darkness you once lived in. The pace does not matter. What matters is the direction. Forward is forward. And sometimes forward looks like a full sprint. Sometimes forward looks like a slow walk. Sometimes forward looks like dragging yourself on your hands and knees. But if you're moving, even slightly, you're winning. You're breaking pattern. You're healing wounds. You're rewriting your future. Too many people quit because they don't see quick results. They expect healing to feel like fireworks, like a sudden burst of clarity, like a magical moment where everything finally makes sense. But healing is usually quiet, slow, gradual. You don't wake up healed. You wake up one day and realize the things that used to hurt now hurt a little less. The things that used to trigger you don't have the same power. The things that used to break you don't break you the same way. Healing sneaks up on you slowly, silently, consistently. Consistently. That's why patience is so important. Not patience with the world, patience with yourself. You have to stop expecting perfection from a heart that has been broken. You have to stop demanding instant strength from a soul that has been wounded. You have to stop judging yourself for being human, for feeling deeply, for needing time. You are not a machine. You do not heal in perfect lines. You do not transform on a deadline. You are evolving at your own pace, and that pace is perfect for you. Moving slowly allows you to learn. Moving slowly allows you to process. Moving slowly allows you to truly feel instead of suppressing everything. Speed might get you far, but slowness gets you deep. It helps you understand your emotions. It helps you see your patterns. It helps you rebuild from the inside out instead of rushing through pain and pretending you're fine. Moving slowly means you are rebuilding with careful intention, not abandoning your past, but learning from it. You have to give yourself permission to take your time. Stop apologizing for not being over it yet. Stop hating yourself for still hurting. Stop expecting yourself to be unaffected by something that deeply impacted you. Healing not a race. There is no finish line. There is only progress. And progress happens whenever you choose to take one more step, no matter how small. Healing is not forgetting, it's transforming. And this is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have about recovery, heartbreak, and emotional pain. They think healing means erasing the memory, wiping away the hurt, pretending it never happened, or forcing themselves to be over it. But listen to me carefully. You are not a computer that deletes files. You are a human being who feels, remembers, and grows. Healing is not about forgetting what broke you. It's about changing your relationship with it, not removing the memory, but removing its power. Not erasing the past, but evolving beyond it. People often say, I want to forget everything. I wish none of this ever happened. I just want to erase it all. But if you erase every painful moment, you would also erase the lessons that shape your character, the strength you developed in the struggle, the wisdom that came from heartbreak, the boundaries you built from disappointment. Your pain made you more aware. Your pain made you more resilient. Your pain made you more human. Forgetting it would mean losing the parts of yourself that only hardship could create. When something breaks your heart, you don't heal by pretending it didn't happen. You heal by looking at it without letting it destroy you. You heal when you can revisit the memory without collapsing. You heal when the hurt becomes part of your story, not your identity. Healing doesn't mean the past disappears. It means it no longer controls your present. It no longer determines your worth. It no longer dictates your future. The truth is, forgetting is easy. Transformation is hard. Forgetting means running away. Transformation means facing everything head on. Forget means avoiding the lesson. Transformation means learning from it. Forgetting means suppressing your emotion. Transformation means understanding them. Forgetting is temporary relief. Transformation is permanent change. Think about a scar on your body. A scar doesn't disappear, it stays. But over time, it no longer hurts, it no longer bleeds. It no longer represents the moment of pain. It represents the healing that followed. It becomes proof that you survived, proof that you endured, proof that something tried to break you, but you're still standing. That's what emotional healing is. The wound becomes a scar, not to remind you of the pain, but to remind you of the heat. Too many people try to forget because facing the pain feels too heavy. They bury memories. They distract themselves. They rush into new relationships or new goals, hoping to outrun what's hurting them. Whatever you bury alive eventually grows. Whatever you avoid eventually returns. Healing demands honesty. It demands reflection. It demands courage to sit with the pain long enough to understand why it hurt, what it taught you, and how you can grow from it. You cannot transform anything you refuse to face. When you choose transformation over forgetting, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop letting your past dictate your emotion. You stop giving your heartbreak control over your happiness. You stop living in fear of being hurt. Being hurt. Transformation means rewriting the meaning of what happened. Instead of that pain destroyed me, it becomes that pain shaped me. Instead of I lost everything, it becomes I gained strength I never knew I had. Instead of I'll never trust again, it becomes and now I know how to choose better. Transformation changes the story, not by changing the past, but by changing you. One day, you will think about the person who hurt you, and instead of feeling anger, you will feel clarity. Instead of feeling heartbreak, you will feel acceptance. Instead of feeling resentment, you will feel wisdom. That is healing. That is transformation. Not forgetting, but seeing it with new eyes. It doesn't happen overnight. Healing is slow. Healing is messy. Healing takes time. There will be days when a memory hurts just as much as the day it happened. There will be days when you feel like you're going backward. There will be moments when the smallest thing triggers a flood of emotion. That does not mean you're not healing. That means you're human. Healing is not linear. Healing is not neat. Healing is not predictable, but it is happening, even when it doesn't feel like it. Transformation often begins in silence, in reflection, in the quiet moments where you finally allow yourself to feel everything you've been avoiding. It begins when you admit you are hurting. When you stop pretending you're fine, when you let the pain surface instead of locking it away, healing is not a performance. It's a process. And the bravest thing you can do is be honest with yourself during that process. There is a reason the heart breaks. It forces you to rebuild it stronger. There is a reason the mind gets wounded. It forces you to challenge old beliefs. There is a reason people walk away. It forces you to recognize who belongs and who doesn't. Nothing that breaks you is meant to leave you broken. It is meant to expose what needed strengthening, what needed healing, what needed changing. Transformation is seeing the same memory differently because you have grown. It's realizing the person who hurt you was also hurting. It's recognizing your own patterns and choosing not to repeat them. It's understanding that sometimes losing something is the only way to find yourself. Transformation is not revenge. It's not bitterness. It's not closing your heart forever. Transformation is rising so high that your pain can no longer reach you. Some people think healing means you must forgive instantly. But forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is liberation. It's letting go of the emotional weight so you can move freely. It's releasing yourself from the prison of resentment. Forgiveness doesn't mean the pain didn't matter. It means it no longer controls your peace. And you can only reach that place through transformation, not avoidance, not denial. Healing also requires acceptance. Acceptance that the past cannot change. Acceptance that people are who they showed you they were. Acceptance that some answers will never be given. Acceptance that closure often comes from within, not from others. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means release. It means choosing peace over confusion. Acceptance is a transformation of the heart that says, I deserve to move forward, even if I don't have all the explanations. When you embrace transformation, you begin to see your pain as part of your evolution. Every heartbreak redefines your standards. Every disappointment strengthens your boundaries. Every betrayal sharpens your intuition. Every loss deepens your gratitude. Every failure expands your wisdom. You don't forget the pain, you use it. You don't erase the memory, you rise above it. The most beautiful thing about transformation is that it turns your wounds into wisdom. It gives purpose to your struggle. It gives meaning to your suffering. It allows you to guide others, to help someone else through their storm, to be a light for someone who feels lost. Your pain becomes your power. And one day when you look back, you will realize that you didn't need to forget anything to heal. You needed to grow. You needed to understand. You needed to rise. The memory stays, but the meaning changes. The story remains, but you become the hero instead of the victim. Healing is not forgetting. It is transforming your heart into something stronger, your mind into something wiser, and your life into something greater. And you are already on that path, even if you can't see it yet. Your greatest strength comes from your deepest struggle. And this is something most people never understand until they've walked through darkness long enough to appreciate the light. We grow up believing that strength is something you're born with, something you show on the outside, something loud or visible. But the truth is, the strongest people you will ever meet are not the ones who had easy lives or smooth journeys. They are the ones who endured heartbreak, disappointment, loneliness, betrayal, failure, loss, and still kept going. They are the ones who looked at the pain and said, you will not break me. Strength is not inherited. It is forged in the fire of your hardest moments. Think for a moment about the people you admire most. They didn't become great because everything went right. They became great because something went wrong and they refused to stay down. They found power inside themselves. that they never would have discovered without the struggle. That is how strength is born, not in peaceful seasons, but in storm, not in comfort, but in chaos, not in certainty, but in confusion. Every struggle you go through is carving something into you: resilience, discipline, wisdom, patience, perspective. You don't get those gifts in easy seasons. You get them in the moments that break you open. When your heart breaks, you learn what truly matters. When your plans fall apart, you learn how to rebuild. When people leave you, you learn how to stand alone. When life hits you hard, you learn how strong you really are. Some of the most powerful versions of yourself are hidden inside the moments you thought would destroy you. Your deepest struggles are the very experiences that shape the unshakable version of you. It's easy to believe that struggle is a punishment. It's easy to think something is wrong with you because you're hurting, because life is difficult, because things are not going the way you hope. But hear me, struggle is not a sign of weakness. It is the birthplace of strength. Nothing strong is created without pressure. Diamonds come from intense heat. Steel comes from repeated forging. Mountains are created through violent shifts in the earth. And your character, your courage, your resilience are shaped the same way. The moments when life feels heaviest are the moments that change you the most. When you're fighting to heal from heartbreak, when you're waking up with a weight on your chest, when you're questioning your worth, when you're unsure if you'll ever feel whole again, those are the moments building your strength. Those are the moments teaching you endurance. Those are the moments preparing you for a future you can't see yet. Every struggle teaches you something. A betrayal teaches you boundaries. A loss teaches you gratitude. A heartbreak teaches you self-worth. Failure teaches you direction. Loneliness teaches you identity. Rejection teaches you patience. Disappointment teaches you perspective. Each struggle leaves you with a gift, a lesson, a wisdom, a deeper understanding of life and of yourself. You don't become stronger by avoiding the pain. You become stronger by surviving it. Strength is not loud. It's not dramatic. Most of the time, strength is quiet. It's the strength to get out of bed when your heart feels heavy. The strength to keep showing up even when you're tired. The strength to hold on when everything in you wants to let go. The strength to smile when you're hurt inside. The strength to try again after failure. The strength to believe in something better when life has given you every reason not to. Your deepest struggles shape a version of you that comfort could never create. Comfort doesn't teach you how to fight. Comfort doesn't teach you how to endure. Comfort doesn't teach you how to rise. Comfort doesn't teach you who you truly are. Comfort can only show you the surface. Struggle shows you your soul. And here's the truth. If you had never been broken, you would have never discovered how much strength you carry. If you had never been disappointed, you would have never learned how to choose better. If you had never been hurt, you would have never gained wisdom. If you had never been lost, you would have never found yourself. The struggle didn't come to destroy you. It came to develop you. Sometimes the strength you gain from your struggles doesn't show immediately. Sometimes it doesn't show for months or even years. You might not see it yet, but trust me, something inside you is changing. You are becoming more resilient, more aware, more focused, more intentional, more powerful. Every tear you cry watered your growth. Every difficult night strengthened your spirit. Every heavy moment built your endurance. You don't heal instantly. You don't become strong overnight. It takes time, it takes pain, it takes falling apart and putting yourself back together piece by piece. But every time you rise again, even if it's slowly, even if it's painfully, you become a little stronger. You build emotional muscles the same way you build physical ones. Through resistance, through pressure, through control, through discipline. Some of the most painful chapters of your life will one day become the most powerful parts of your story. Not because the pain was beautiful, but because what you became through that pain was powerful. You will look back and realize that struggle didn't break you. It built you. It built you. It taught you resilience. It prepared you for challenges that others would crumble under. It taught you how to stand when everything around you was falling apart. And here's the part most people never realize. Your struggles don't just make you stronger, they make you useful. They give you compassion, understanding, empathy. They allow you to relate to others who are hurting. They allow you to guide others through their storms. They allow you to stand as a testament of hope. People don't trust those who never struggle. They trust those who survive. A person who has never been broken might be polished, but a person who has survived breaking is powerful. They carry wisdom in their eye. They carry courage in their voice. They carry it in their bones. You can feel the strength in them because it was earned, not given. When you've survived your deepest struggles, life can no longer shake you the same way. You have been to the bottom, and you found the strength to rise. You have felt the weight of heartbreak, and you found the strength to heal. You have tasted the bitterness of disappointment, and you found the strength to hope again. That kind of strength is unbreakable. That kind of strength is rare. That kind of strength is yours. So if you are struggling right now, if your heart feels heavy, if your mind feels tired, if your spirit feels cracked, don't believe the lie that this struggle is your end. This struggle is your beginning. This struggle is shaping a version of you that's unstoppable. The version of you that is wise. The version of you that is grounded. The version of you that is strong beyond measure. The process will hurt. Growth always does. Becoming stronger always does. But every moment of pain is building you. Every disappointment is preparing you. Every heartbreak is shaping you. One day you will look back and say, that struggle didn't defeat me. It developed me. Your greatest strength does not come from the easy days. It comes from the nights you survived, the tears you cried, the battles you fought, the storms you weathered. You are stronger because of what tried to break you, not weaker. And the strength you're building now will carry you into every blessing that is coming your way. Sometimes life hits you in a way that makes you question everything. Your purpose, your strength, your identity, your direction. You wake up one day and realize that the version of yourself you used to know is gone. And you're standing somewhere between who you were and who you're trying to become. And that in-between space hurts. It stretches you. It drains you. It breaks you open in ways you never expected. But listen to me. This is the part of the journey where you learn how to rebuild. Not from comfort, not from ease, but from pain. This is where you learn how to take the shattered pieces of your heart and use them as building material for your future. This is where you stop waiting for the hurt to disappear and instead learn how to move forward with the hurt still in you. There are moments in life where you don't get closure, where you don't get explanations, where you don't get apologies, and you don't get justice. And your heart feels like it's carrying a weight that nobody can see, but you can feel every second of the day. You feel it when you wake up. You feel it when you're working. You feel it when you're surrounded by people who care about you, but somehow you still feel alone. And you wonder, how do I keep going when I feel like I'm barely holding myself together? You keep going because life is still happening. Because life is still happening. You keep going because your purpose didn't disappear when your heart broke. You keep going because even though you feel damaged, you're not done. You keep going because your pain is not a period, it's a comma. It's not the end of your story. It's just a painful chapter you're still reading through. And I need you to understand something crucial. Healing is not about pretending you're okay. Healing is not about forcing yourself to smile. Healing is not about acting like the pain doesn't exist. Healing is about learning how to live without letting the pain take your life hostage. It's about acknowledging that you're hurt, but refusing to let the hurt control your steps. It's about waking up each day knowing you're not the same person anymore and deciding that this new version of you still deserves to move forward, still deserves joy, still deserves success, still deserves peace. Most people think that moving forward means you have to get over what happened. But listen to me, some things you don't get over. Some things you carry. Some heartbreaks don't disappear. You just learn how to live with them. Like a limp after a wound that never healed quite right. It doesn't stop you from walking. It just reminds you of what you survived. Your broken heart is proof that you care, that you tried, that you loved deeply, that you showed up fully. And even though that depth cost you something, it gave you wisdom you couldn't have gotten any other way. It taught you about people. It taught you about yourself. It taught you about trust, about expectations, about reality, about resilience. That broken heart is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of humanity. But moving forward with a broken heart requires a mindset shift most people never make. Because when pain enters your life, your mind immediately tries to protect you. It tells you to shut down, to withdraw, to isolate, to avoid risks, to stop hoping, to stop dreaming, to stop believing, to stop believing. Because believing hurts. Hope hurts. Trying again hurts. It tells you that if you don't put yourself out there, you won't get hurt again. But the problem is that staying safe is its own form of suffering. You might avoid heartbreak, but you also avoid growth. You avoid possibilities. You avoid opportunities. You avoid new chapters. You avoid your own evolution. Pain tries to convince you that survival's enough, but you weren't created to survive. You were created to live. So moving forward with a broken heart means choosing courage over comfort. It means showing up even when you feel empty. It means being present even when your mind wants to replay the past. It means taking steps even when your legs are shaking. It means letting yourself feel the pain, but not letting yourself drown in it. It means acknowledging that healing takes time and choosing to move anyway. It's slow, it's messy, it's painful. But every step you take with that broken heart is a step toward rebuilding yourself. Sometimes you'll wake up and feel stronger. Sometimes you'll wake up and feel like your back is zero. Sometimes a memory will sneak up on you and hit you so hard, it takes your breath away. Sometimes you'll look in the mirror and not recognize who you become. But every time you keep going anyway, you teach yourself something powerful. That your heart may be broken, but your spirit is not. That your emotions may be bruised, but your purpose is untouched. That your soul may be in pieces, but your destiny is still whole. You have to stop waiting for the day when you'll feel completely healed before you take your next step. Because healing is not a moment. It's a process. Healing is not a switch. It's a journey. Healing is not about waking up one morning magically unbroken. It's about slowly becoming someone who can carry the brokenness with grace. You don't need to be fully healed to move forward. You just need to be willing. But here's the part most people don't like to hear. Moving forward with a broken heart means accepting that some people who hurt you will never understand the damage they caused. Accepting that some people will never apologize. Accepting that some situations will never make sense. Accepting that closure may never come from outside. You might have to create it yourself. And that's hard because we all want answers. We all want explanations. But the truth is, your healing cannot depend on someone else admitting they were wrong. Your healing cannot depend on someone else fixing what they broke. Your healing has to come from within you. And yes, it hurts to let go of what you deserve. It hurts to accept the truth you didn't want to believe. It hurts to move forward without the people you thought would be with you forever. But sometimes the pain is the only thing pushing you to grow. Sometimes the heartbreak is the only thing strong enough to break you out of a version of yourself you were never meant to stay in. Sometimes the loss is the very thing that leads you to your next level. You'll discover something powerful when you move forward with a broken heart. You become stronger in ways you never imagined. Your compassion grows. Your empathy deepens. Your resilience sharpens. You become more intentional, more self-aware, more discerning. You become someone who sees life differently. Not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of clarity. The pain teaches you not to settle for less. The heartbreak reminds you what you deserve. The disappointment trains your spirit to recognize authenticity and reject anything that doesn't align with your value. And eventually, slowly, quietly, you'll notice something else. The pain doesn't control you like it used to. The triggers don't hit as hard. The memories don't cut as deep. You start breathing easier. You start thinking clear. You start walking with more confidence. You start believing in the possibility of joy again. You start seeing your future again. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you grew stronger than the pain. Moving forward with a broken heart doesn't mean the past never mattered. It means the past no longer has authority over your steps. It means you're done letting what hurt you keep you from what's ahead of you. It means you're choosing to rebuild, even if you have to rebuild with trembling hands. It means you're choosing to live, even when life didn't go the way you expected. It means you're choosing to rise, even though you have every excuse to stay down. And one day, you'll look back and realize that the heartbreak that once felt like it was destroying you was actually shaping you. That the wound that once felt unbearable became the womb for your transformation. That the pain that once made you feel lost gave birth to a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, and more alive than you've ever been. There comes a time in your life when you have to face yourself with an honesty so raw, it almost scares you. A moment where you can no longer hide behind distractions, behind excuses, behind noise, behind other people's presence, or behind the idea of who you think you should be. A broken heart forces that kind of honesty. It strips you down. It exposes the parts of you you've been avoiding for years. It puts you face to face with every fear you suppressed, every insecurity you covered up, every wound you pretended wasn't there. And the truth is, when your heart breaks, it doesn't just break because of the person who left or the situation that changed. It breaks because you're suddenly forced to confront pieces of yourself you didn't even know needed healing. There's something about pain that makes you stop running. Something about heartbreak that pulls you into the quiet, whether you want to be there or not. And in that quiet, you start to notice things you couldn't see before. Your patterns, your habits, the ways you've been giving too much, the ways you've been too long, the ways you've been holding on to things that were never holding on to you. You begin to realize that sometimes the heartbreak didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal you. It came to show you who you really are beneath the expectation, beneath the roles, beneath the masks. But here's the challenge. When that self-awareness hits, it's uncomfortable, it's overwhelming, because now you're not just dealing with the pain of what someone else did. You're dealing with the realization of what you allowed, what you accepted, what you ignored, and what you tolerated. And that's where most people get stuck. Because it's easier to blame someone else for the heartbreak than it is to acknowledge your own participation in your suffering. It's easier to point the finger outward than inward. But moving forward with a broken heart requires a level of self-accountability that most people are terrified of. You have to be willing to ask yourself the hard questions. Why did I stay in a situation that was draining me? Why did I put my worth in someone else's hands? Why did I give more than I received? Why did I silence myself to keep the peace? Why did I ignore the red flags my spirit tried to warn me about? Why did I hold on to potential instead of reality? These questions hurt. They expose you, they humble you, but they also free you. Because the moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you gain the power to change yourself. Self-awareness is not about blaming yourself. It's about understanding yourself. It's about recognizing your needs, your boundaries, your patterns, your triggers, your worth. It's about seeing clearly where you've been, where you want to go. When your heart is broken, every part of you becomes sensitive, every memory feels sharper, every emotion feels heavier. But that sensitivity gives you insight. That emotional intensity gives you clarity. You start to understand what you can no longer accept in your life. You start to see what you truly value. You start to feel what you deserve and what you never want to experience again. There's a version of you that only pain can introduce you to. A wiser version, a more grounded version, a more conscious version. A version that knows what it feels like to give too much and therefore learns how to protect itself better. A version that knows what it feels like to be ignored and therefore recognizes quickly the people who genuinely care. A version that knows what it feels like to be broken and therefore becomes more intentional about who they let close. Pain sharpens your intuition. Heartbreak expands your discernment. The pieces of your broken heart become the lenses through which you start seeing life more accurately. And listen, this kind of growth doesn't happen when everything is going right. It happens when life falls apart. It happens when you're sitting with your thoughts at 2 a.m. replaying every moment trying to understand what went wrong. It happens when you're driving and a song triggers a memory you didn't ask for. It happens when you're surrounded by people but still feel alone because your heart is somewhere else. It happens when you're forced to rebuild your entire identity from the ground up because the version of you that existed before the heartbreak is no longer enough to carry you where you're going. Self-awareness grows in the places where you've been broken. It grows in the silence. It grows in the tears. It grows in the conversations you're afraid to have and the truths you're afraid to face. It grows every time you choose to sit with your pain instead of running from it. It grows every time you reflect instead of avoid. That grows every time you take responsibility instead of pointing fingers. It grows every time you decide to learn from what hurt you instead of letting it harden you. But let me be clear. Self-awareness isn't just about understanding your mistakes or your weaknesses. It's also about recognizing your strength. It's about seeing how far you've come. It's about acknowledging how much you survived. Sometimes you're so focused on what broke you that you forget to notice what the pain didn't take from you. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still trying, you're still fighting. You didn't quit, even when quitting felt like the easiest option. That is self-awareness too, knowing your resilience, knowing your endurance, knowing your value, knowing your power. A broken heart makes you reevaluate everything. The way you love, the way you trust, the way you give, the way you communicate, the way you protect yourself, the way you choose people. And that evaluation is necessary because without it, you'll repeat the same cycles with different faces. You'll keep attracting what resembles your unhealed parts. You'll keep giving people access to parts of you they haven't earned. You'll keep settling for less because you haven't understood why you settled before. Self-awareness breaks those cycles. It interrupts dysfunctional patterns. It forces you to create boundaries. It teaches you how to love yourself in ways you never did before. And the more self-aware you become, the more you start to heal. Not because the pain goes away instantly, but because the pain becomes a teacher instead of a prison. The heartbreak becomes a mirror instead of a wound. You start to use the pain to elevate, not crumble. You start to see that the brokenness is not stopping your growth. It's fueling it. It's shaping you into someone who can carry their future with strength and wisdom. There comes a moment on this journey where you begin to understand that moving forward with a broken heart isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about learning from what happened. It's about seeing yourself clearly so you never make certain choices again. It's about knowing who you are so deeply that nobody can come into your life and rewrite your identity for you. It's about recognizing your emotional pattern so you stop sabotaging your own peace. It's about understanding your worth so fully that you no longer shrink yourself for anyone. The deeper your self-awareness grows, the more you begin to trust yourself again. And that's important because heartbreak doesn't just make you lose trust in others. It makes you lose trust in your own judgment. You start questioning your decisions. You start doubting your intuition. You start believing you were blind. But through self-awareness, you rebuild that trust. You learn how to listen to your inner voice again. You learn how to pay attention to your spirit. You learn how to feel the truth in your body. You learn when something is aligned and when something is wrong. You learn how to trust a version of you who is wiser now. As you grow more self-aware, something powerful begins to happen. The heartbreak stops defining you. It becomes part of your story, but not the end of your story. It becomes a chapter, not your identity. You start to see your life beyond the pain. You start to see possibilities again. You start to see options again. You start to see hope again. You begin to understand that the heartbreak didn't destroy you. It awakened you. It made you conscious. It made you intentional. It made you aware of the life you truly want and the life you refuse to tolerate anymore. And slowly you become someone new, not someone hardened, not someone bitter, but someone wiser, someone deeper, someone more aligned with truth, someone more connected to themselves, someone more careful with their heart, but not closed, someone who can love again, not blindly, but consciously, someone who can trust again, not recklessly, but wisely, someone who can move forward, not because the pain is gone, but because they have learned from it. There comes a point in the journey of heartbreak, a moment where you've cried all the tears you can cry, replayed all the memories you can replay, questioned yourself more times than you can count, where you suddenly realize something powerful. You cannot go back, not to the person you were, not to the place you left, not to the chapter that ended, not to the version of yourself who existed before the pain. And when that realization hits, it shakes you, it scares you. It scares you. It forces you to face the truth that life is moving, whether you feel ready or not. And in that moment, you understand that the only direction left is forward. Not because forward is easy, not because forward feels good, but because forward is the only direction where healing lives, where transformation lives, where your future lives. People talk about moving on like it's a simple switch you flip, like one day the pain just disappeared, so you suddenly stop caring. But it doesn't work like that. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It doesn't mean pretending you didn't love, pretending you weren't hurt, pretending the past didn't matter. Moving on means you choose no longer to live there. You choose not to build a home in the ruins of what broke you. You choose not to stay stuck in the memories of yesterday. Moving on means you take the lesson with you, but you leave the burden behind. It means you stop reopening the wound to check if it's healing. It means you stop trying to rewrite the past into something that it never was. It means you stop fighting battles that ended long ago. And here's the truth. Most people don't want to accept. You can't move forward while holding on at the same time. You can't heal from what you keep revisiting. You can't outgrow a chapter if you keep rereading it. You can't walk towards your future if your feet are still planting in past. You have to choose. You have to make a conscious decision to release what is no longer meant for you, even if it still hurts, even if it still confuses you, even if part of you still wishes things were different. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. Letting go means you stop suffering. It means you stop letting a moment dictate your whole life. Moving forward with a broken heart is one of the hardest things you'll ever do because it feels unnatural. Your heart wants to hold on. Your mind wants to understand. Your spirit wants closure. But sometimes closure doesn't come from people. It comes from acceptance. Sometimes healing doesn't come from answers. It comes from surrender. Sometimes peace doesn't come from fixing the situation. It comes from freeing yourself from it. And that freedom starts the moment you stop asking, oh, why did this happen? And start asking, oh, what is this teaching? Pain teaches you what you deserve. It teaches you what you should no longer tolerate. It teaches you what kind of people you want in your life. It teaches you how deeply you can feel. It teaches you how strong you actually are. And with that strength, you start to rise, not quickly, not perfectly, but slowly and honestly. Healing isn't loud. Healing isn't dramatic. Healing is quiet. It's gradual. It's those tiny changes that no one sees. It's those small decisions you make every day. It's choosing not to check their profile. It's deleting conversations that trigger you. It's walking away from what doesn't align with you. It's setting boundaries. It's focusing on your growth. It's rebuilding your routine. It's finding joy in the smallest things again. It's choosing yourself again. And as you heal, something inside you begins to shift. You start to see the world differently. You start to see yourself differently. You realize you are more than the heartbreak. You realize you are more than the pain. You realize you are more than the pain. You realize that love did not end with that person, that your value did not disappear when they walked away, that your life did not collapse just because one chapter did. You start to see possibility again. You start to dream again. You start to dream again. You start to breathe again without that heavy weight on your chest. It doesn't happen all at once. Some days you move forward 5 steps, and some days you fall back 3. Some days you feel strong, and some days you break again. Some days the memories feel distant, and some days they feel like they just happened yesterday. But listen to me, every day you choose to keep going. Even when your heart feels heavy, even when your mind feels tired, even when your soul feels exhausted, you are healing. You are rising. You are becoming someone new, that new version of you. That's the blessing hidden inside the heartbreak. Because the pain changes you. It softens some parts of you while strengthening others. It makes you more compassionate, more aware, more discerning. It makes you appreciate real love more deeply. It makes you choose yourself more boldly. It makes you protect your peace more fiercely. It makes you intentional in ways you never were before. The heartbreak that was meant to break you becomes the heartbreak that builds you. There will come a day, maybe months from now, maybe years, when you'll look back and barely recognize the person who cried so much over someone who couldn't see your worth. There will come a day when you'll thank God the situation didn't work out the way you wanted, because you'll see how it would have limited you, drained you, or kept you small. There will come a day when you'll meet someone who treats you the way you always deserve to be treated. And you'll realize that everything you lost created space for something better. There will come a day when you'll feel joy so real, love so pure, peace so deep that you'll understand why you had to experience the pain first. The heartbreak was not the end. It was the beginning. It was the preparation for the life you're meant to live. But even before that day comes, you have to walk forward with faith. You have to keep believing that your future holds more than your past. You have to trust the process even when it doesn't make sense. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself. You have to understand, healing is not linear. There will be setbacks. There will be moments where the pain feels fresh again. There will be moments where loneliness hits you unexpectedly. There will be moments where your mind wanders back to what used to be. That doesn't mean you fail. That doesn't mean you fail. That doesn't mean you're not healing. Simply means you are human. The key is not to let those moments pull you back into old cycles. Feel the emotion, but don't let it anchor you. Acknowledge the memory, but don't let it control you. Accept the pain, but don't let it define you. You've come too far to go back. You've cried too much to go back. You've learned too much to go back. You've grown too much to go back. Moving forward doesn't mean you ignore your heart, it means you lead it. It means you guide it gently but firmly into the future. And eventually you reach a place where the pain becomes a story rather than a wound, a memory rather than a burden, a lesson rather than a scar. You begin to thank yourself for surviving. You begin to respect yourself for choosing to move forward when everything inside you wanted to stay stuck. You begin to love yourself in ways you never had before. And that self-love becomes the foundation of your next chapter. When you move forward with a broken heart, you discover something extraordinary. The heart that breaks is the heart that grows. The heart that shattered is the heart that expands. The heart that hurts is the heart that learns. You realize that you didn't lose yourself. You simply shed the parts of you that were never meant to stay. You didn't lose love. You simply made space for a deeper one. You didn't lose your future. You simply realigned with the path that was always meant for you. You become unstoppable. Not because you never feel pain again, but because you now understand that pain can no longer control your life. Not because you never get hurt again, but because you know how to heal. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. And with that strength, you rise, not despite your broken heart, but because of it. Listen to me. There are moments in life when your heart doesn't just break, it shatters. Not into two pieces, but into 1,000 sharp fragments that seem to cut you from the inside out. And nobody talks about how hard it is to walk through life carrying those pieces. Nobody talks about how heavy a broken heart feels. Nobody talks about the days when you wake up and it feels like there's a weight on your chest. You can't live, like breathing takes effort, like existing hurts. Nobody talks about how confusing it is to love someone and lose them, whether through betrayal, distance, circumstance, or simply time. But listen to what I'm telling you right now. Even with that broken heart, even with that pain, even with that emotional exhaustion pressing down on you, there's still a future for you. There's still a path. There's still a path. There's still a purpose. You can move forward, not because the heartbreak disappeared, but because you learn how to walk through it. People think strength means being untouched. They think strength means being unbothered, unhurt, invincible. But real strength, real, raw, authentic strength is born in the moments when you're at your lowest, when you're at your most fragile, when you're standing knee deep in heartbreak and still choosing to get up. You don't become strong when everything is smooth. You become strong when life hits you with something you didn't see coming and you have to figure out how to keep going. You become strong when the people you trusted break your trust and you have to learn how to trust yourself again. You become strong when your heart gets broken and you somehow find the courage to keep loving, keep believing, keep hoping. There's a part of heartbreak people don't like to admit. It has a voice. It whispers to you. It tells you lies. It tries to convince you that you're not enough. It tries to convince you that you weren't worth staying for. It tries to convince you that the love you gave was meaningless. It tells you that you'll never find better, that you'll never heal, that you'll never feel whole again. That voice is loud, especially at night when everything gets quiet. And if you're not careful, if you're not intentional, if you don't learn how to talk back to that voice, you'll start believing it. But listen closely. Heartbreak does not define you. A broken heart is a condition, not an identity. You feel broken, but you are not broken. You feel lost, but you are not lost. You feel empty, but you are not empty. You are carrying pain, yes, but you are still whole. You are still valuable. You are still worthy of love, worthy of joy, worthy of better. Moving forward with a broken heart is not about pretending you're okay. It's not about forcing a smile. It's not about getting over it quickly just to prove something. It's not about running from the pain. It's about learning how to sit with the pain without letting it consume you. It's about learning how to feel without drowning. It's about allowing yourself to grieve the loss of a future you imagined, the loss of a person you cherished, the loss of a version of yourself that existed in that relationship. And sometimes grieving looks messy. Sometimes it looks like crying at random moments. Sometimes it looks like having no energy. Sometimes it looks like replaying conversations in your head. Sometimes it looks like withdrawal, but that doesn't mean you're weak. That means you're human. And healing starts with giving yourself permission to feel. But listen, feeling is not the same as staying stuck. You cannot camp in the valley. You cannot stay in the place of heartbreak forever. You cannot build a life around pain. There comes a time, maybe quietly, maybe suddenly, when you have to stand up inside to say enough, but I'm not done. There comes a time when you have to shift from grieving to growing. A time when you must choose to take one step, not 10, not a leap, just one toward the future that's waiting for you. And that step might be small. It might look like getting out of bed when you don't want to. It might look like going for a walk. It might look like journaling. It might look like blocking someone you should have blocked a long time ago. It might look like focusing on your goals again. It might look like rebuilding your confidence piece by piece. These small steps matter. They're the bricks you use to rebuild the parts of yourself that heartbreak tried to destroy. One thing I need you to understand, heartbreak doesn't just hurt your emotions, it affects your identity. You start questioning yourself. You start questioning your decision. You ask, oh, why wasn't I enough? Oh, why didn't they choose me? Well, why did they treat me like that after everything I gave? But these questions come from a wounded place, not a truthful one. You're looking for answers in the wrong direction because the truth is, someone else's inability to value you has nothing to do with your worth. People treat you based on their capacity, not your quality. Some people don't know how to love, how to stay, how to respect, how to be honest. And their shortcomings are not your burden to carry. One of the hardest truths you'll ever face is this. Sometimes the people you love deeply are not meant to stay. Sometimes the people you gave your heart to can't go with you to the next chapter of your life. Sometimes the person you thought was forever was only a lesson. A painful lesson, yes, but a necessary one. And if you cling to what was, you'll miss what could be. You can't step into your future holding hands with your past. When your heart breaks, you have two choices. Let the pain shrink you or let it shape you. Shrinking means you close off. Shrinking means you stop believing. Shrinking means you protect yourself so fiercely that you never allow yourself to love again. Shrinking means you let the heartbreak define your expectations, your perspective, your relationships, your future. But shaping means you rise. Shaping means you rise. Shaping means you grow spiritual muscles you never had before. Shaping means you learn how to love yourself in a way you never did before. Shaping means the heartbreak becomes the thing that transforms you, deepens you, refines you. And listen to me, sometimes you don't even realize how much you lost yourself in a person until they're gone. You don't realize how much of your identity was tied to them, how much of your time revolved around them, how much of your energy went into keeping them happy. After the heartbreak, you start to see how much you neglected yourself. You start to see how many dreams you put aside. You start to see how many pieces of yourself you gave away without receiving anything back. And that realization hurts, but it's also a gift because now you get to rebuild yourself with intention. Now you get to reclaim the parts of yourself you abandoned. Now you get to discover who you are outside of that relationship. Moving forward with a broken heart means you accept that healing is not a straight line. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel weak. Some days you feel like you've made progress. Some days you feel like you've gone backward. But healing is not about being perfect. Healing is about being consistent. It's about showing up for yourself even when the pain feels unbearable. It's about choosing not to reopen wounds that are trying to close. It's about choosing yourself again and again until your heart understands that it is safe. And as you keep choosing yourself, something powerful starts to happen. You start to feel light again. You start to feel alive again. You start to rediscover joy in things you forgot you loved. You start to care about your goals again. You start to rebuild your confidence. You start to attract healthier connections. You start to see your worth clearly. You start to realize that your heart didn't break to punish you. It broke to free you. You become stronger. You become wiser. You become more grounded. You become the kind of person who can stand alone if needed. You become the kind of person who understands that peace is more important than attachment. You become the kind of person who knows that love should never cost you your self-respect. You become someone who refuses to beg to be chosen, someone who refuses to settle for less than reciprocal love, someone who understands that you can love again, not out of desperation, but out of abundance. And when that day comes, when your heart finally catches up with the healing your soul has been doing, you'll look back on this moment, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with gratitude. Gratitude that you survived. Gratitude that you grew. Gratitude that life pushed you out of what was holding you back. Gratitude that you didn't let the heartbreak break you. You will move forward, not because your heart is unbroken, but because your spirit is unbreakable. And now after everything, after all the tears, after all the nights of replaying memories, after all the questions that seemed to have no answer, after all the times you thought you would never breathe again, after all the moments you felt like giving up, it's time to stand. Not because the pain is gone, not because the heartbreak disappeared, but because you've learned that moving forward is not about waiting for perfect circumstances. It's about showing up even when the ground beneath you feels unsteady, even when the weight on your chest feels heavier than your body can carry. You don't have to be whole to take a step. You don't have to be healed to make a choice. You don't have to be fixed to walk forward. All you need is the courage to move, the willingness to rise, and the belief that what's waiting ahead is worth more than what's left behind. You see, a broken heart does not mean the end of your story. It is a chapter. A difficult, painful chapter, yes, but a chapter that can teach you more than joy ever could. That heartbreak can be a master teacher if you allow it to. It teaches you strength you never knew you had. It teaches you resilience in ways comfort never could. It teaches you how to love yourself in ways that no one else ever will. It teaches you the value of patience, the importance of boundaries, the necessity of self-respect. It teaches you how to protect your peace while still remaining open to growth, and how to recognize the difference between people who deserve your energy and those who don't. Pain can be bitter, but it can also be the catalyst that refines you into the person you were always meant to become. And here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. Moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. Moving forward doesn't mean erasing the memories or pretending the love you felt didn't matter. Doesn't mean pretending the heartbreak didn't sting or that the betrayal didn't cut. Moving forward means you take all of that, the memories, the lessons, the wounds, the growth, and you build something new. You build a stronger foundation for yourself, one that can hold more joy, more love, and more purpose than ever before. It means you honor what you've been through while refusing to let it define your future. It means you carry the lessons but leave the weight behind. Life will test you, and life will challenge you. The world will not wait until you are ready. Opportunities will appear while your heart is still tender. People will come into your life while your soul is still healing. And this is where the true test comes. Can you move forward with courage? Can you move forward with faith? Can you move forward knowing that you are enough just as you are, even if your heart is still in pieces? Can you take one step forward when every fiber of your being wants to turn back, wants to retreat, wants to stay in the familiar ache of yesterday? The answer is yes. And every time you choose to take that step, you prove to yourself that heartbreak is not a prison. It is a gateway. It is not a sitting. It's a call to rise. It is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater than you could have imagined. And don't get it twisted. Moving forward is not easy. It's not glamorous. It's not neat. It's messy. It's raw. Some days you will cry for hours and feel like the pain has returned stronger than ever. Some nights you will lie awake thinking, oh, why me? Why now? Some mornings you will wake up exhausted, wondering how you're going to face the world with this heart that feels heavy and raw. But those moments are not signs of weakness. Those moments are signs that you are human, that you are feeling, that you are learning, that you are becoming. And the more you face those moments, the more you grow stronger, more resilient, more capable of loving fully, more capable of living fully. When you move forward with a broken heart, you discover something extraordinary. That heartbreak does not diminish you. It does not lower your value. It does not make you unworthy of love, joy, success, or happiness. What it does is show you how much you can endure, how much you can overcome, and how much strength you possess that you never realized existed. You realize that you were never broken beyond repair. You were simply in the process of learning how to rise in a world that sometimes breaks all of us in order to show us who we really are. You discover that your heart is not fragile, it's resilient, that your spirit is not fragile, it is unyielding, that your life is not defined by what was taken from you, but by what you choose to build from it. And the process of moving forward is transformative. You start to see your value clearly. You start to honor your needs and protect your boundaries. You begin to recognize the difference between love that nurtures and love that diminishes. You start to see the people who are truly aligned with your growth and the ones who are not. You start to choose yourself with intention, and that is a power few understand. When you begin choosing yourself, you stop settling for what doesn't serve you. You stop lingering in relationships, situations, or environments that drain you. You stop giving your energy to people who do not respect it. And every time you make that choice, you reclaim a piece of your soul that heartbreak tried to take. There will be moments when you feel ready to love again, to trust again, to invest in life again. And when those moments come, you'll approach them differently. Not because your heart has stopped feeling, but because your heart has learned. You'll approach life with discernment, wisdom, and courage. You'll know that love is a gift, not a transaction. You'll know that people can only give what they have. You'll know that peace is priceless and must be protected fiercely. You'll know that joy is your responsibility and your choices matter more than your past pain. And in that wisdom, you'll find freedom. And freedom is the ultimate reward of moving forward with a broken heart. Freedom is waking up in the morning without the weight of regret on your chest. Freedom is smiling without pretending. Freedom is feeling joy without guilt. Freedom is walking into your purpose with clarity, strength, and confidence. Freedom is knowing that heartbreak was not the end. It was the beginning. Freedom is living fully, loving fully, and believing fully, even when your heart still bears the scar. And remember this, moving forward is not a straight line. You will stumble, you will cry, you will question, you will feel moments of doubt and fear. But every time you get back up, every time you take another step, every time you choose hope over despair, every time you choose yourself over comfort, you are rewriting your story. You are proving that heartbreak does not have authority over your destiny. You are proving that you are stronger than the pain. You are proving that your life is bigger than your loss. So rise up, stand tall, take a deep breath. Allow yourself to feel, but don't let feeling pale and feeling pale another, then another, then another. Embrace the lessons, honor the memory, and leave behind what no longer serves you. Rebuild your confidence, rebuild your trust, rebuild your joy, rebuild your heart. And as you do, remember that every scar, every tear, every sleepless night, every ache, every moment of doubt, every heartbreak was not in vain. It prepared you for this moment. It prepared you for a stronger, wiser, more resilient, more loving, and more alive version of yourself. Your heart may be broken, but your spirit is unbreakable. Your journey may be painful, but your destination is glorious. Your losses may be heavy, but your victories are waiting. Your tears may fall, but your laughter is coming. Your nights may feel long, but your dawn is rising. And one day when you look back, you will see that everything, the heartbreak, the struggle, the pain, was necessary to bring you to the person you were always meant to be. And so move forward, step by step, day by day, breath by breath. Carry your heart, carry your lessons, carry your scars, but do not carry the weight of yesterday. Release what you cannot change. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know. Trust yourself for what you do know now. And remember, even with a broken heart, you are capable. Even with a broken heart, you are worthy. Even with a broken heart, you can rise. Even with a broken heart, you can love again. Even with a broken heart, you can find joy again. Even with a broken heart, you can live fully, passionately, courageously, and fearlessly. Your story is not over. Your journey is not finished. Your heart is not destroyed. Your future is waiting. Walk toward it. Walk with courage. Walk with hope. Walk with the knowledge that your pain has a purpose. Your struggle has meaning, and your life has a destiny far greater than your heartbreak. Move forward, not in spite of the brokenness, but because of it. And when you do, you will discover that your heart, even in its fragility, is stronger than you ever imagined. Rise, step, and never forget that your broken heart is not a barrier. It is your bridge to a life more extraordinary than you ever dreamed possible.